Hi there, welcome to another viewing of Jamaica Magazine. I am Adrian Atkinson. Coming up, irrigation wonders and how you can foster a child. Get comfy and relax as we take you through 30 minutes of informative features that you do not want to miss.
Are you aware of how Jamaican adolescents use social media? What do they do online? What do they post? Do you know if they are being harassed? These are questions you should be asking yourself because it is your duty to keep your children safe online. Parents, here's what you need to do. Be active online and offline. Help your child to set up his or her online profile. Make sure you familiarize yourself with the different social media applications that they use and set some rules. Protect our nation's children and save them from cybercriminal attacks.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, July 23. A 14-member high-level Education Transformation Commission has been established to conduct a comprehensive review and assessment of Jamaica's education system, including its structure and operation. Prime Minister Andrew Holness launched the commission in a virtual ceremony at Jamaica House yesterday. He says the group will also recommend actions for change and is expected to produce its report by March 2021. The 14-member commission will be chaired by Professor Orlando Patterson, a John Coles Professor of Sociology at Harvard University in the United States.
We have assembled a comprehensive group that represents all elements of the education system. I am truly grateful to all the members of the commission who have agreed to serve. What I am looking for is not tinkering or tweaking, but real, radical change that will put Jamaica on an entirely new trajectory to growth and prosperity.
The Ministry welcomes the formation of this commission, which will review all sectors of the system, including early childhood, primary, secondary, vocational, and higher education. We look forward to the recommendations that will come from the commission as we continue working to ensure Jamaicans are empowered to achieve their fullest potential through world-class educational training.
The last major assessment of Jamaica's education system was undertaken in 2004 by the Task Force on Educational Reform with Dr. Ray Davis as chairman. In other education news, the Portfolio Ministry is advising school administrators that the cost of registration packages at the secondary level should be no more than $5,000 and there ought to be no cost for registration at the primary level. The directive was issued in a recent bulletin by the ministry. It is in keeping with government's mandate of ensuring that the cost to parents remains minimal for children to attend public school. In that vein, the bulletin also outlined that there should be no increase in parent contribution for the 2020-2021 academic year. Additionally, all charges for registration packages must first be approved by the ministry before they are put into effect. Other guidelines include ensuring that a breakdown of what the registration package covers is clearly outlined to parents or guardians. School administrators are to make use of virtual spaces to reduce the need to charge for printed materials. And the ministry says non-payment of fees cannot affect acceptance of school placement or registration. Board chairmen have been charged with ensuring that school administrators follow the directives in order to minimize the cost to parents and ensure that no child is disenfranchised. Regional officers will also increase their vigilance over the next few months to provide support and ensure that there is no deviation from the ministry's policy position. Businesses have been granted an extension on the relaxation of certain tax compliance mechanisms which were put in place to help them continue operations despite the COVID-19 pandemic. It's allowed the business entities to secure a tax compliance certificate, TCC, without meeting the statutory obligations of filing and making a return. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark first announced the relaxation as part of the 2020-2021 revenue measures, and they were scheduled to end on June 30. On Wednesday, the minister released a statement saying certain measures would be extended in light of the continued negative impact of the pandemic and as part of government's continued efforts to support the recovery process. As a result, Tax Administration Jamaica, TAJ, will continue facilitating the issuance of one-off TCCs to businesses that fall into non-compliance over the period July 1 to September 30, 2020. There will be no new summons issued, court proceedings, or enforcement action taken for non-compliance until after September 30. Taxpayers with outstanding interest and penalty charges as a result of late payment and/or late filing of tax obligations due for the period March 1 to June 30, 2020 may qualify for the reversal of charges incurred during that period. TAJ will issue additional information about the relaxation measures and conditions for qualification. All restorative justice centers are now back in full operation after services were scaled down to help minimize the spread of COVID-19 in the country. Coordinator of the Restorative Justice Program, Adrian Lindsay, says the centers are now operating with a number of health and safety protocols in place to reduce the risk of transmitting the virus.
Before we had part-time cleaners who worked 3 days a week for 4 hours. Now all of our cleaners are full-time. They work 5 days a week and they work from 8 till 4. We have all our high-touch areas being sanitized every 1 to 2 hours. So that would be light switches, door handles, doorknobs. The bathrooms are cleaned every hour.
Ms. Lindsay was speaking recently with JIS News. She says all centers were asked to complete risk assessments in order to identify gaps and what COVID-19 protocols should be in place. Restorative justice is an alternative dispute resolution method. It can be accessed through referrals from the police and the courts, as well as self-referrals by persons involved in conflicts. And finally, the St. James Municipal Corporation and UN Habitat has distributed 450 care packages to residents of Canterbury, Albion Lane, William Street, and surrounding communities in Montego Bay. The care packages include face masks and hand sanitizers. The items were donated on July 21 as part of a $100,000 COVID-19 response program being undertaken by the municipal corporation. Mayor of Montego Bay, Councillor Homer Davis, says the project isn't confined to care packages. Residents are also being engaged in COVID-19 sensitization and education sessions. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
What if they knew that you abused her? Her family?
Mr. Jones.
And your colleagues, how will they look at an abuser? When the law comes knocking, you'll have nowhere to run.
Mr. Brown, you're under arrest. Please get up, hands behind your head and interlock your fingers.
Turn your back on abusers. Report gender-based violence to the police. There's no excuse for abuse. Call the Bureau of Gender Affairs at 876-754-8577.
Can you imagine having a machine that does all your irrigation work for you? This next feature will show you just that. The young and creative minds at Vere Technical High School have created a remote irrigation vehicle that is guaranteed to make your work easier around the farm. Take a look.
There we have a structured agricultural program. Students sit the subject at CSEC and at the CAPE level. It is divided into two groups, the animal and the crop production. So here at Beer, the students, they tried to use technology. So they came up with the robot, we call it a RIV, which is a remote irrigation vehicle. So instead of coming on the farm to do the watering, the fertilizing and the spraying, the technology itself, which is the RIV, does that job for the students. So it eliminates them being here on a very frequent basis to get that done.
Yeah, I started this group when I was in grade 9, when we first entered the 4-H Tech in Agriculture competition. We first designed a miniature chicken coop that was powered via wind turbines. Our project we have now is our RIV, which is a 3-phase project. We now are at phase 2. Phase 1 was our atmospheric water generator, which generated water for our greenhouse. Phase 2 is our robot that catches the water from the generator and distributes it to the plants within the greenhouse. SRC competition, which is the Scientific Research Council competition, we won that competition 3 years in a row. 2019 was actually a relief because we won 2018 with phase 1 of the project. So we actually won 2019 with phase 2 of the project. What we want to do with the robot now is to allow the robot to specify how much humidity is within the soil and tell what type of pest is on the plant.
The RIV consists of 3 sections: the watering and the electronics and the movement. Alright. For certain vehicles, it's hard to maneuver through certain obstacles. So we designed the robot to work on a very rugged terrain. So it has 6 wheels. The watering is set in a way where it won't damage plants during the watering. So we take specific measurements regarding the gap that is working with, and then our electronics is powered by a solar panel that we place on the back of the robot, which does the charging for the batteries. So while it's working, you don't have to worry about it running out of power during the process. So as it does its job, it charges, and you get a steady feedback on your cell phone regarding what it's doing, how far it has reached in the watering or fertilizing. The most unique factor is that you can leave it in your farm anywhere, and you can stay at work, in your house, anywhere, and get live feedback regarding the statistics of the robot. Battery percentage, location, how far it has reached in the process of watering or fertilizing.
We're trying to engulf the younger generation into the association because we don't want that when we move on, the club and the legacy that we have created die out. So we incorporate the younger ones and so forth, teach them what we have already garnered, especially the experiences from what we have. We take some of the younger ones with us so that they can get the experience as well and help their fellow young mates up. If you're interested in science and technology, it is a field that you have to have patience, because everything won't go the way that you want it to. So you have to develop patience, you have to be a good listener, you have to learn to observe, because through these skills you'll be able to advance your skills, because no one knows everything, so each one teach one. So when you have these skills now, you'll be able to learn faster, you'll be able to learn better, and in the long run you'll be able to develop your own ideas based on what you've learned along the way.
For the first time in history, both the 2020 Jamaica Gospel Song and Festival Song competitions will be hosted online. And guess what? The winners will be selected by none other than you, John Public. The top 10 finalists for both competitions have already been released and are currently circulating on local and diaspora airwaves. Look out for the finals of the Festival Song competition on TVJ on July 26 and the finals of the Gospel Song competition on CBM on August 2. While you wait, go ahead and download and or stream the top 10 festival songs on Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music, Apple Music and Tidal. Resilient and strong, let's celebrate Jamaica 58. Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, an adult who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best they can possibly be. This next feature will guide you through the steps needed to foster a child.
Have you ever thought about fostering a child but not so sure about how you can do so? Well, today is your lucky day. Get your pen and paper ready as we take you through all you need to know about the foster care program in Jamaica.
So what is foster care all about? Foster care is a process that allows non-biological parents to provide children in state care with a stable environment which contributes to their overall development. How do you become a foster parent? You have to be a responsible adult in good legal standing between the ages of 25 and 65. Must have accommodation that the child can be comfortably housed, gainfully employed or have some source of income, willing to undergo medical examination, must have a police record, meaning you must provide a police record, not that you must have a record, and finally to agree to a home visit and assessments by the children's officers periodically as they supervise the child in placement.
And those are the basic steps you need to take to foster a child. I dare you to make a difference and foster a child who is in need of your helping hand today. For more information on foster parenting, visit any CPFSA office island-wide or call 876-948-284122.
Children, and we have rights. We have a right to be
protected,
provided for,
and included.
Don't beat me up, don't belittle me, and please don't molest me.
I am under 13. I should not be working for a living.
That is child labor. It is illegal.
Stop leaving me alone. I am too young to provide for myself. I need your guidance.
Protect our nation's children. They have rights too. To learn more about children's rights, call or visit the offices of the Child Development Agency.
I know I'm not the only one who gets frustrated when something I want to purchase is out of stock. For example, hand sanitizers, which are extremely important when soap and water are not readily available, especially amid this COVID-19 pandemic. Up next, tips on how you can make your own hand sanitizer.
Hi there, thanks for joining us. I know, like myself, some of you are working from home. As you can see, I've turned my dinner table into a makeshift office, and I always have my trusty hand sanitizer with me. It's finished, so we're going to make homemade hand sanitizer. We have a 4-ingredient hand sanitizer. The most important ingredient is alcohol, and it has to be 62% volume or above, and aloe vera. And we have vitamin E oil and an essential oil, just to make it smell nice. So follow me into the kitchen. First things first is to turn our aloe vera leaf into aloe vera gel. It's not going to have the same consistency as the aloe vera gel that you'd buy in the store, but I trust this over store-bought because you don't know what they put in it. So first things first, wash it, and then we put it in our blender to smoothen it out. what we're aiming for is a 1/3 cup of aloe vera gel / juice and 2/3 cup of alcohol. We're doing it 2 to 1 because the most important ingredient is the alcohol. Now that we've blended our aloe vera, we're going to put a 1/3 cup of the aloe. Wow, my measurement is on point, man. Whoa, just right. But as I said, the main and most important ingredient is this right here, the alcohol. We're going to use 2/3 cup of alcohol to a 1/3 cup of the aloe vera. I have here my measuring cup and I'm going to pour 2/3 of the rubbing alcohol into the cup. And I'm going to add a 1/3 of the aloe vera gel. For some persons, this will do, but for me, I want to add some vitamin E oil, so as to give a little more softness for the hands. So I'm going to put 2 to 3 drops of it, so it's thick. As I said, this is optional, or you could use glycerin if you have it at home. Then the next one is the essential oil. I chose tangerine because I like that smell. And I'm going to add maybe 6 to 8 drops. And it's purely for cosmetic purposes. It doesn't add anything. As long as you have the rubbing alcohol, you should be good. Then I will just mix them together. In a clean container, after you mix the ingredients together, you pour. Now that we've made our homemade hand sanitizer, the only thing left to do is to try it out. Very moisturizing. Wow. It's very strong too. Smells a lot like the alcohol with a tinge of the tangerine. So you can try it out right there in the comfort of your home.
There are 195 countries in this world, and there's no place I'd rather be. See, if you're living outside of this country, just forward in, man, and you'll get to see exactly what I mean. We can chill on the beach. If you puff trees, alright. Police won't mind long as you're not overdo it. Jamaica is the place to be. Jamaica will make you so happy. White, Chinese, Indian too. We no response to you give praise to. Could a Christian, Muslim, atheist, Rasta. We are still one, yeah, we still live good. Love we can spread the eternal mood and the woman them enough you can pick and choose. Could a slim to the bone or them big and them round and the whole of them are hot, yeah, them beautiful. Reggae dance all nothing move to the bass. Fun never done, could a night, could a day. Grab a beer, drink rum, lone vibes in a brain. Bolt when the race, but a bob set the pace.
Yeah, I get it better, yo. Try to make the time run out. Buy your plane tickets, I go on a boat, you better come, guys. Jamaica is the place to be. Jamaica will make you so happy. Jamaica, I love Jamaica. Jamaica, I love Jamaica. Jamaica, I love Jamaica. Jamaica is the place to be. Jamaica will make you so happy. Jamaica make you so happy. Jamaica is the place to
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. Watch other productions on our YouTube channel. While you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.